I think Grammys announced that they have a best spoken word poetry album category now for the first time ever. And I guess from the promo, I kind of alluded that you guys had like kind of part. Did you guys have part in getting this, through?
Yeah, so in a nutshell, in 2019, there was a poet, Sekou Andrews. He put together a incredible album, hired an orchestra, like blew it out the water. And he got all the way to the nomination. But back then, spoken word, the best spoken word album category was including spoken word. It was including audiobooks, instructional videos,
Audio.
sermons. Yeah. So long story short, Sekou gets the nomination and then he loses to Michelle Obama's audiobook. And of course, I mean, it's Michelle Obama, like you not, you know. But then realizing that, when he took it to Jay Ivy, who did a bunch of spoken word on like Kanye's college dropout project and everything, but he also is an advocate on the board for the Recording Academy. JIV took it up to the upper ups and was like, hey, can we get it split so spoken word poetry has its own category? And they were like, well, out of all the submissions, it was only like 20 of them that were spoken word albums. So it's not enough to warrant splitting into its own category. So they were like, all right, bet, say less. So there was a campaign led by him, Sekou, and Brandon Alexander Williams called Get the Griots to the Grammys. And it was basically like rallying up the spoken word community, showing that, we have a voice, that we're here, we're alive, we're thriving. And when I tell you, like, the submissions were just crazy, and it's like talented people from like all over the US. And so with that, as you can see, the Recording Academy was like, okay, like there is a community, you guys do have a voice, and we do want to honor that. So then this year they ended up splitting the category, and for the first time we have the best spoken word poetry album at the Grammys. So
I mean, that's very dope. It's been a long time coming, obviously. So I guess what was the feeling when it first initially announced that, all right, now this is like a category and like you guys have your own space to be like acknowledged and recognized?
Yeah, it was exciting. It was exciting because again, you feel like, you're doing this work for the culture, literally. And, I think as a whole, I think a lot of us thought it would take like a couple of years, maybe 2 or 3 years of doing this, like submitting and getting them to see like we're here.
Yeah.
But once, Saran hit me like, hey man, like the category got split. And we were just excited for the culture. Really, at first, it was just like, man, like that's dope. Dope for the poets. It's going down. The poets are going to be able to do their thing. It's going to be dope. And then I think it wasn't even like an hour later that we both were kind of text each other back like, so,
yeah, it's go time.
It's go time. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do another project or what? And we work really fast. Like our last album. Again, he talks about the call. We were on the call, and then within like a month, we had the first album done last year. And so this time, again, it was maybe like a month or so of us getting the news that the category split, and then saying, "Hey, let's get a record going." And then we got with Varsity. And then like the album was, we were done conceptually. Like we just had to get everything put together with as far as like recording and doing all those things. But like we had ideas, we were writing hooks. The session that I talked about earlier, we were writing hooks in that session and coming up with concepts in that session for songs. So we were already working then, and so we were able to put it together and do what we do. Again, we just work really fast. And so, yeah, we got this record and we were just really excited about how it's turned out, and just everything that's coming along with it, man. So it's been great.
Awesome. And how's like the submission process been? Has it been pretty easy? Like straightforward?
yeah, the submission process is pretty straightforward. It's just, you got to have everything clear cut. So you got to have like the project fully mixed, mastered, all the credits submitted, all your liner notes, your album work, all the information that's needed. And then it can be a little intense because like if you mess something up, they might hit you back and be like, hey, you messed this up, correct this information so you can be eligible. Or you could just end up not being eligible because you didn't do something correct. So it's like, it's almost like you walking on eggshells. Like, let me make sure I don't put two S's in S rap, or, I spell Rashad the poet's name right because it mess up and be different on the ballot and everything, you know.